guys. So, right from the jump, one of the interesting things to talk about with this episode is that while the pacing is relatively very hit and miss, it does set the stage for a lot of fights and some other stuff as well as some other stuff going forward. Like, just from how this chapter ends, you can tell it is prepping Yamato in order to jump in and face Kaido. But on top of that, we also got a little more of Sasuke versus Frankie, and we even got a little tease of a setup for a fight between Jinbei and Who's Who. Like, yes, that big cat monster you saw, like facing down Jinbei, that is Who's Who. Which, yeah, that right out of the gate, I actually want to say the fight between Jinbei and Who's Who is going to be a doozy of a fight for every single anime only watching this episode, because like the thing about the fight with Who's Who is everyone, like, even though there are a lot of fights going on right now, everyone needs to pay attention to that fight, and not even necessarily because of how action-packed it is, but even though it is, but more so because the fight of Who's Who and Jinbei is where the revelation, where Oda really goes hard on the revelations. Like every single, beyond this point, you should expect a huge revelation every single, practically every single moment throughout One Piece, honestly. And now, that's basically that's what you should expect to happen going forward now. Now, even though the episode did spend a little too much time dragging his feet on Chopper's end of things, I do like how we're finally moving forward on that end, with Marco having given him an extra little bit of time he needs to make a vaccine, but by using his fire in order to return everyone's body temperatures to normal. The only thing I wasn't a fan of is how Queen is still fucking talking. I know it was somewhat in the manga too, but seriously, you'd think after Zoro threatened him, he'd learn something, but no. He's gonna keep on being a fat psychotic asshole who's gonna run his mouth. And I guess in that regard, I'll give the anime this. It's going to make getting all these extra little tidbits with Queen is gonna make his defeat all the sweeter. They are giving more material for us to work with Queen to hate him more, and that is just going to make his final moments, his defeat, all the more beautiful and sweet in order to digest. Also, on the reverse end of that, I forget if the scene was in the manga. I forget if the scene with Apu confronting the Straw Hats to get the Antidote back was in the manga or not, but credit where it's due, the anime is making me feel a little bit more sympathy for the character of Apu compared to the manga, and Apu Seiyu is genuinely capturing the desperation of the character a lot that I find interesting. Like, you can really tell a lot more with the anime that the character is just is more desperate in order to just that the character is truly finds himself in a life or death situation, and that he will do that in this situation where he is still technically allied with the Beast Pirates. He is willing to do anything to survive. Of course, the major thing to talk about is the preview for next episode, because, yeah, if you couldn't tell, we're headed full force into Yamato's backstory, and let me tell you, if you thought you've already been given enough reasons to hate Kaido, you're about to be given a whole, at least 12 new sets of reasons, at least a dozen new set of reasons after next week's episode to hate him even more. It's one of those things as well where I had a lot of problems with Yamato's characterization early on in her introduction, but this upcoming episode is the point where everything in regards to Yamato's character suddenly made so much more sense to me, and especially how it relates to her relationship with Kaido as her father. It's really hard to go into further detail than that without divulging spoilers, but given time, I'm sure it won't be long before Kaido is put on the worst fathers in anime history list after that episode drops. Um, of course, in the same breath, we also get the reveal that that Ace, Luffy's brother, is the friend that is basically the friend that basically is the friend that Yamato spoke of, and it shows that, and it one of those things that goes to further show that Ace had a lot more of an impact on Wano as a whole than from just befriending like Tama. Like Ace did have an impact on how in some ways Wano exists today, but that in itself, the reveal in itself, also opens up a whole new can of worms for her backstory as well, with the implication that it was Ace who you could almost say in some ways saved Yamato, and yeah, like again, I'm not gonna say anything more from that, but obviously from there, the rest of the episode was essentially just one big dinosaur double fruit rumble, which, yeah, I brought it up briefly, but if I did have one major issue with this episode is that aside from some pretty good setups, a large majority of it was mostly like padding, which really dragged the episode down a lot. And in this case, like, I know padding is kind of something we expect from One Piece, but in the case of this episode, it felt like it was padded more than usual. Like there were times where it really felt like it was kind of dragging itself down almost. With that being said, this is an episode I do appreciate also for its little touches, like seeing the doctor and nurse from Zoe coming back in the picture in order to help Chopper make the antidote is an example of just how important a role the Zoe arc actually is playing in this arc, and like in the crossover of it, because we already knew that Zoe was going to play a major part, and it has been seen from the actions of them with the fight against like Perospero or the fight against Kaido. It's also nice to see that battling Kaido is not the only battlefield they're being used on, and that they can provide their skills and knowledge elsewhere elsewhere, like how they're doing it to help Chopper. And on a technical level, now that we are seeing this, hopefully Toei will be speeding up the pacing with the antidote creation. Maybe like it gives me some hope that we won't be stuck in limbo with this plot point of Chopper needing to develop the antidote too much longer. And yeah, I will admit it, One Piece made me cry for the monkey. Like I didn't really care for him all that much when he battled Old T in page 1, but holy hell, like it got a little bit of an emotion out of me. His defeat got me a little bit emotional. I'm not gonna lie about that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. From my Twitter, Analyst Control. Be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.